but I have no label right now, and we're doing everything funded straight out of Megan Thee Stallion pockets. So the budget is coming from me.
Hot Girl Productions.
Motherfucking Hot Girl Productions.
Megan Thee Stallion, she has filed multiple lawsuits against her record label. If you guys remember, we had some different things happening. The first was that she was saying that she was in an unconscionable contract because they basically were not paying her royalties. Also, that they were telling her that an album that she had delivered did not qualify as one of the albums that she owed to the label. So they were just duking it out. And now we're here 3 years later. And guess what happened? Which is what happens all the time with these lawsuits. They settled.
She signed with like new management with Rock Nation, with Jay-Z's Rock Nation.
That's right.
They went over her old contracts and they're just like,
yeah, she's like, I finally got real lawyers. And this is just so important. Like for these artists who just become huge names and they're just moving so quickly, and then at some point they end up getting an attorney.
Yeah.
And they go back and re-review the contracts and they're like, wow, like this was, and here's the thing, even in the best case scenario, record label contracts are inherently very unfair. It's just how it works. So, I'm sure she was just shocked and appalled, which is why she's saying this was unconscionable. But here's what happens when you are in a lengthy lawsuit over a year, 2 years, in this case, 3 years. I mean, each side has probably paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to their attorneys, if not more.
Yeah,
So,
no. It's
basically
crazy.
Can survive the longest, and eventually people will settle.
And that seems to like happen because everybody, when you're in these heated lawsuits, and when you're dealing, I mean, with any business, but with your art, with your name, with your likeness, with everything that you've built and tried to build or whatever, everybody's in their feelings. Everything takes personal. And I'm sure you see this all the time with clients. It's more, half of it, it's not even really about the money. It's more about just like sticking it to the other person and coming out on top, or I've fought this far, I can't give up now. I'm sure there's a lot of that goes on. But they've been clashing, and the 2021 something for the hotties album, they were arguing over because it didn't meet the required number of original songs, because it was more of like a mixtape, and saying that it wasn't enough original material. They said that it only had 29 minutes, but she said that it was 45 minutes and 2 seconds long of original material, and we covered that on the channel as well.
Yeah, and guys, those two things are specifically outlined in the contract that you signed with the label. So it goes, the number of albums that you're going to deliver will be, let's say, 3. And it has to be of original. So we specifically use that word, original songs. And so, for example, what the label is claiming, they're like, well, you included some songs that were off of other albums that we've released, so those songs don't count. So therefore, and then with the second piece, as far as how long of the amount of content, they're like, well, if we take out those songs, it's no longer the required 45 minutes. It's now like 20 or 30. So
and we see this with artists when they're trying to get out of, label deals, and they'll just kind of either do like a throwaway album. Sometimes they just can't get labels can't get the artist in the studio. And that's why you'll end up seeing like, the best of this artist, and then you'll see the greatest hits the next month of this artist, or a certain collection, because they're trying to just either they're working something out where they can just get away with them. So you'll see like compilations, and that's where a lot of those come from. And you'll see that or the new remastered versions. A lot of that stuff.
Sometimes that's just because it's smart to re-release stuff that's already done well, right? So you have, Metallica, we're remastering, I mean, it's a guaranteed success.
But sometimes they're doing that stuff just to fulfill, like just to get rid of stuff. And then the last lawsuit was just, she was complaining about her complaint was, so she was seeking like over $1 million in damages because they're just what is it that they systematically failed to and wrongfully allowed for excessive marketing and promotional charges. And that's something that we talk about all the time on the channel, is when you sign to a label, one of the problems that you don't have any kind of control of where your budget is going, what people they're going to be using, to whatever their fees are. Let's say they're going to hire a music video director for your video. Well, you're at the mercy of whatever that music video director is. You're not really negotiating because the label's kind of taking care of that. And, you're getting charged for it, but, it's all coming out of your thing. So that's another reason why we say, if you stay independent, then you kind of have way more say over what you're doing.
Which brings me to my point on this. So Megan Thee Stallion, as of right now, is fully independent. And
Yes.
as of last week, she was
That's
doing
great.
a live stream. And so she said, I'm independent. I'm paying for my own stuff right now. And that's how it's going to be for a while. I really, really, really
I love
hope
it.
that she stays independent. She probably won't, though. So the
But
benefit
she will
of
get a great deal. She will get a great deal.
yes, but the benefit of her staying independent is, of course, that she would own all of her stuff. She can sell her music down the road. She's, not having to make any concessions or whatever. The downside, she's not working with a partner like a label that does have connections and can help her and do all the things. But, it would be amazing. And the reason why she's probably not going to do it is just because she doesn't have the know-how. She doesn't run a label, so to speak. And so for me, I really hope, like, even I said this for Taylor Swift. I'm like, it would have been amazing if she got out of her deal and just stayed independent, and she went and signed again, and that's
But
all
then
okay.
I also understand they don't want the headache of it,
Yeah.
and that's okay too. Some artists you just want to create, you just want to kind of do your thing. You don't want the headache of all the nuances and things of, all the conversations. I can't imagine how many conversations she has to have with their team. She's probably not looking to add a whole bunch of new conversations from a new business venture that she's starting up as far as a label. But I
And
do
you
think
may be right, but all I can say is I vote, and I hope that she stays independent, and we will, of course, be continuing to follow Megan Thee Stallion.